Okay. Name, please.
Lauren Stott.
Okay, Lauren, talk to me about the different stimulus or stimuli that you've used in this piece.
We've used like a song, so we've used a singing side. Obviously there's acting in there.
Yeah.
We use the book from, I can't remember who wrote it, so
right.
Yeah, we used the book.
And have you used any props?
Yes and no. Like at the start we've got our placards, but then like there's some other sort of like kit that we'd want to use, but like we didn't really budget for it.
Okay. Describe some of the methods you might have used in devising this piece of work.
In devising it?
Yeah.
Well, research, obviously.
So you've used research.
Aye.
What acting methods have you used?
Like freeze frames and stuff.
Freeze frames, yeah.
That's just to draw attention.
Yeah.
We used a monologue.
Right.
Well, quite a few, and
okay, so you used various techniques.
Yeah.
And you've used space, haven't you? You focused yourself in on space. How have you managed to select and reject certain ideas for development? You've been quite useful in that you've helped other people as well as yourself. Can you tell us some of the things that you've been doing?
Well, I went, like, obviously I wrote it all down, like, because different people had different ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote like other people's ideas down, and then like we come up with something together. And then so that was a help, because if I didn't write it down, then people would have got confused on what each other did. And then April does a monologue, and like when she reads it from the book, you can like tell that she's reading it, because it's just something that you wouldn't hear in like a day like today.
Yeah.
So I helped to like modern it up a bit, and just like instead of keep looking at the book, just take over, like you've read how that character is feeling, so you just take that character on board and then you be her.
On a couple of occasions you've had to play April's part, haven't you? Tell us about how you did that.
Well, because April's actually read out of the book a few times, I know how it is, like I know bits of it, and like I'll think of that part and work around it, and then it's always go back to how I feel, because it's a monologue about her. So
okay, that's good. Have you been given an equal opportunity to develop your own ideas?
Yeah.
Right, and a lot of your ideas have come through into this, haven't they?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us a couple of ideas that have that you've actually incorporated into this.
That we actually use placards for the strike scene right at the beginning.
Yeah.
An idea that we added another family member, because the idea was that the mum went to the loan shark, but then it would have looked, and the loan shark was, no, the loan shark was the mum, and that Connor, which was the drunken dad, was the dad going to the loan shark, but then it would look silly because like of the height.
Right.
So I suggested that if we had another family member, which is me, and then change the loan shark, but so there still needs to be a boisterous character, and then it should work because I'm smaller than. So
in a roundabout way, you're responsible for the family's downfall, because you're the person who took out the loan.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've added lots of extra bits and pieces, and you've helped other people. So we've come up with that conclusion. What would you change to make it more successful? Is there anything that you think?
Get the police costumes.
Okay, so
definitely
we were looking at costumes.
Yeah.
In terms of acting, or the storyline, is there anything that you would have changed?
No, I don't think so, because it is pretty much like the ideas of, like I've set it in stone. Like other people had the different scene ideas, and then I went home and obviously set it how it should have been. Okay,
so would you say as a group of people you've worked quite well?
Yeah.
Okay. The last thing is that I want to know about is, what is your target audience? Do you understand what a target audience is?
Yeah, it's for like other college people.
Right, so it's for other college people.
Yeah, like.
And how do you feel about the idea of using issues from 30 years ago? Are they the same issues that we see today?
Well, kind of, when like the rioting's going on. So it's good to know how, because obviously it's in the past, like they know what it used to be like back then, and that it did used to be obviously, and that's where it's kind of evolved from, really.
Just talk us a little bit through some of the research that you've got there.
Well, obviously I've got loads of different pictures.
Right, so you use pictures as a stimulus as well,
Yeah,
haven't you?
because I found one, and then it's like a row of coppers,
Yeah.
and then the row of the miners,
Yeah.
and then in the middle are like loads of women and wives and things like that.
Right.
So because like the women was always like, they was like wanted money, so they were kind of on like, we need to go back to the pits.
Right.
But then it was love drawing them to that side, but they were squished in the middle because they didn't know what to do.
So they were stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
The families were stuck in the middle of the strike between
Yeah.
the people who were the miners and the cops.
Yeah.
Right, I like that. I hadn't thought of that one. What else have you got there? What were the name of the characters that were involved? What was the lady Prime Minister called at the time?
Margaret Thatcher.
Okay, and what have you come up with on Margaret Thatcher?
Well, I seen that it was seen as a political victory
For
Margaret Thatcher,
right,
because obviously she wanted him back in the pits, and then she come up with loads of stuff about it. And
okay. What was the name of the miners' leaders? Can you remember that?
oh,
It's in your sheet there, isn't it?
no, not in this one. I've got another one.
Okay.
At home.
Right, so you can't remember the name of the miners' leader?
It was called Arthur something.
Arthur Scargill.
Yeah, that's it.
There's two things I want to ask you before we finish. There's a song there,
Yep.
and just read us a couple of lines of that song.
Probably do it off my head.
You could probably do it off your head. Right, just read a couple of lines off that, please.
Alright. Now I'm a union man, amazed at what I am, and I say what I think, that the company stinks. Yes, I'm a union man. And when we meet at the local hall, I'll be voting with them all, with a hail of a shout, out boys out, and the rise of the factory falls. Then the chorus,
Yeah.
you won't get me, I'm part of the union. You won't get me, I'm part of the union. You won't get me, I'm part of the union until the day I die.
Well
until
done.
the day I die.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Send the next person in. Thank you.